Hello, Pastor Lois again. As usual, doing my Takeout Tuesday devotion as a children's message, but adults get something out of it too, right? Yeah. So today I'm recording from inside because my husband just put something kind of stinky right outside our house. And as a matter of fact, house is the key word today. I was looking at the readings that you'll hear in church on December 20th. And between the Old Testament and the New Testament, Old Testament and Gospel readings, we hear about 4 different houses. 4. In the Old Testament reading, which is from 2 Samuel, we hear about a house that King David made of cedar. We hear that he wants to make a house for God. And God sends a message to David through the prophet Nathan saying, no, I'm going to build you a house, which is weird because David already has a house. But that's because the kind of house that God meant is the same kind of house that was used in the gospel reading. In the gospel reading, it refers to the house of Jacob. And matter of fact, what the angel tells Mary in the gospel story is, he will be great, and he will be called the Son of the Most High, and the Lord God will give to him the throne of his ancestor David. He will reign over the house of Jacob forever, by which, of course, the angel is referring to Jesus. So, who is Jacob? Well, it turns out, according to the Gospel of Luke, which is the Gospel we're reading from on the 20th, that Jacob is the great grandpa of David. That same King David we were talking about from the Old Testament reading. So what's being said there is that Jesus is part of this long-term family that goes back to David, and in fact even further back. That's kind of neat, huh? So, not referring to a house made of cedar, which is a kind of wood, or bricks or anything like that, but referring to family. In particular, a family in charge, like kings, and then their sons or daughters, and keep on going, generations and generations of people. But what's really neat also when you think about it is how different the house was that David built and that he wanted to build for God compared to the house that Jesus himself was born in. You figure David built a very fancy house made out of cedar, and he wanted to build one just like that for God. So it'd be like a really big church or temple. But instead, Jesus ends up being born in a very humble stable, whether it was outside and made of wood, or maybe like tucked into a cave, which was a common construction technique back then for places to hold animals, especially if it was like the lower level of a house, which is what historians think the stable that Jesus was born in might have been. It would be the lower level of a house. So it's probably like a cave that something else was built on top of. Anyways, the point is how different these houses were that both had glorious purposes to them. That David wanted to build a house to glorify God, and yet Jesus comes to us in a very humble house to begin with, to build his kingdom. His kingdom, which is tied back through generations and generations and generations to David, and also generations and generations and generations forward to us today. And that, to me, is really good news.